Rain slicked the blackened pavement of Sector 7's lower grid, turning the labyrinth of alleys into mirror pools that reflected fractured neon. Advert holoboards buzzed overhead in riotous colors, crimson ads for synthetic protein, azure endorsements for luxury bioimplants. Yet none offered hope to the denizens below. Mira huddled beneath an overhanging grate, her battered pack of scavenged circuitry at her side. She had learned to stay in the shadows, where the city's glow dimmed and its dead were quietly laid to rest. Tonight, like every night, she waited for scraps, a malfunctioning drone, a discarded data shard, anything she could barter for a single vial of nutrient gel. A hiss of steam erupted behind her, and she flinched, rocking backward until her shoulder pressed against cold, graffiti-scarred brick. The word reject was spray-painted in jagged red above her. Mira's violet eyes narrowed, not in anger but in tired resignation. Labels weren't new to her. From the moment she'd awoken in an abandoned lab with no name, no past, the city had branded her unworthy. Even fellow outcasts whispered that her healing miracles were curses in disguise. A distant clang echoed, followed by hurried footsteps. Mira flattened herself against the wall, heart pounding. Scavengers rarely cared if a limb twitched back to life. They took parts, sold them, and moved on. But the Hunt Corps, those black-armored enforcers, patrolled the lower grid for any sign of outlawed biotech. Being caught wasn't just incarceration, it was deconstruction. The footsteps paused. A soft voice, a rarity in the grid's usual grunt and growl, spoke. "Hey." Mira peered around the corner of the grate. A lithe figure in a tattered trenchcoat offered her a half-empty nutrient packet. His cooled blue eyes glinted with equal parts curiosity and something gentler, compassion. "You drop this," he said, holding out the packet. "Figured you could use it." For one stunned second, Mira thought it a trap. But hunger clawed her belly, and the stranger's gesture felt genuine. With trembling fingers, she accepted the packet. "Thank you," she whispered, voice barely above the steam's hiss. He smiled, a hesitant curve of lips under a flickering hollow emblem. "Name's Kai Rowan. I'm not from around here." He tapped the device at his wrist, its screen showing job listings for a cybernetics firm uptown. "I've never seen anyone heal tech like that," he admitted. Eyes drifting to her hands. Resting on the ground lay the severed limb of a small service droid, wires frayed. Mira's fingers itched to touch it again, to coax it back to function. "I'm special," she said, pulling her coat tighter. "That's why they chase me." Instead of recoiling, Kai nodded with quiet resolve. "Maybe you could use a safe place for a while." His voice was low, earnest. In the heart of the lower grid's cacophony, it sounded like a lifeline. Mira studied him, this stranger who dared to offer sanctuary rather than condemnation. The city's neon glow danced in the puddles at their feet, casting fractured rainbows across her worn boots. She had nothing to lose. "Lead the way," she murmured. As they slipped into the alley's deeper shadows, Mira couldn't shake the feeling that this chance encounter, this simple act of kindness, was the first spark of something far greater than survival. And somewhere beyond the haze of neon and steam, every surface gleamed under soft amber lighting, far removed from the grime and clamor of the lower grid. Mira's boots clicked hesitantly against the metal grating, eyes darting to security locks and surveillance nodes. "You don't have to worry here," Kai said, tapping nearby panel to disable the door lockdown. "Most people assume this level is off limits." He swung the door open to reveal a compact lab apartment bristling with half-finished prototypes, a hovering drone missing its rotors, a row of biomech arms in various states of calibration, and a humming holo display cycling through schematics. Mira paused at the threshold, heart thudding. She had never seen so much technology in one place, let alone an entire room devoted to it. The air smelled of ozone and charged nanofilament. Kai retrieved a vial of nutrient gel from a refrigerated cabinet and handed it to her. "Eat something," he urged gently. "Then tell me how you do that thing with machines." As she ate, Mira's gaze flicked to a severed mechadroid foot resting on a workbench. The synthetic cables inside pulsed like tendons. "It's not magic," she said, voice soft. "I was created like you build these." She reached out, fingertips brushing the exposed circuitry. Instantly, nanite swarms, tiny, invisible to the naked eye, flared to life. Wires reknotted, servomotor spun, and with a faint click the foot extended perfectly flat. Kai's breath caught. "I've never seen such spontaneous self-repair," he breathed. He activated a nearby holo sensor. It glowed blue, mapping energy flows as Mira's nanites worked. "This is illegal tech," he murmured. "If the Hunt Corps ever got wind..." Mira withdrew her hand, cheeks flushed. "They call me a monster," she confessed, "but I don't control it." She looked away, ashamed. "I just want to survive." Kai stepped closer. "You deserve more than survival." He swept a hand around the lab as if offering her the world. "If you need shelter, or someone who believes your gift isn't a curse, I'm here." She studied his earnest profile, the soft glow of hollow projections reflecting in his eyes. No betrayal, no fear, only open invitation. For the first time, since she could remember, Mira felt something stirring inside, a fragile hope. "Okay," she whispered. "I'll stay." Outside, the city's neon lights pulsed like distant heartbeats. Inside, behind closed doors, a new alliance was born, one that neither outsider nor engineer could have predicted. Late that night, rain pattered against the panoramic windows of Kai's lab apartment, casting dancing, refracted light across the polished surfaces. Mira sat cross-legged on a cushioned bench beside a central work table, her coat tossed aside. Before her lay a skeletal service droid, its torso split open like a book, wires spilling outward. Kai hovered beside her, holo display raised, waiting for her touch. She inhaled sharply, steeling herself. Placing her palms against the droid's exposed frame, she felt the subtle hum of hidden nanites stirring beneath her skin. The ambient glow of the lab flickered as those unseen swarms surged into the droid's circuitry. Copper threads wove neatly back into place, sensors realigned. Within moments, the droid shuddered, its eyes flickering alive. Kai exhaled in wonder. "How do you know where to start?" he whispered. Mira pulled back, her fingertips tingling. "I feel patterns," she said, voice low, like an echo in the code. Her violet eyes softened as she studied the humming machine. "These nanites," she continued, "they're not just programmed to repair, they map intent, what the hardware's supposed to do, and rewrite failure." He tapped a control pad. "This schematic shows no built-in repair protocol. You're rewriting structural memory." He frowned. "That's beyond anything the Council's biotech labs ever announced." Mira's gaze drifted to the far wall, where a sealed cabinet bore a faded emblem, two interlocked rings beneath an alchemical symbol. "I woke up in a lab like this," she murmured, standing to approach it. Her fingers trembled on the frosted glass. "They called it Project Helix." The cabinet's lock clicked as if responding to her touch, but its door remained shut. Mira backed away. "I escaped before they activated me fully. All I remember is the surge of something inside, like a voice. Kai studied her profile, concern etching deeper lines. You think those same people are hunting you now? She nodded, brows knitted. The Hunt Corps chases illegal tech, but Project Helix, it was supposed to be the next step in human evolution. Whoever controls me could weaponize it. Her shoulders slumped. I never asked for any of this. A silence fell, broken only by the droid's soft whir. Kai stepped forward and gently rested a hand on her arm. Then we'll keep your secret safe, he vowed, and figure out your past together. Mira turned, amber light reflecting off the hollow sensor on her wrist. You really want to help me? She asked, searching his eyes. More than anything, Kai replied. Your gift, our work, could transform lives, and you deserve to know who you are. He offered her a small, battered datapad. These are the only files I could recover from the Council's archives before they locked me out. They mentioned Project Helix, but nothing about its purpose. Mira took the pad with reverent care. As she scrolled through fragmented reports, redacted notes on quantum morphic nanites, and subject activation protocols, her pulse quickened. Each jagged line of text was a clue to her origin. She looked up, determination hardening her features. Then we start at the beginning, she said, voice steady. We track down every lab, every scientist tied to Helix. I need to know who made me and why. Outside, the city slumbered beneath electric skies. Inside, amid humming circuits and whispered confidences, Kai and Mira sealed their pact to pursue secrets buried deep in circuitry and to face whatever dangers lay ahead. Together, days blurred into nights as Kai and Mira immersed themselves in clandestine missions across Arcadia Prime. By day, they pored over hollow schematics in the lab, refining a portable injector that could deliver Mira's nanites safely into damaged limbs. By night, they slipped into the slums, the canyons, the rust wards, the forgotten tunnels beneath Sector 12, scavenging broken drones and malfunctioning med stations to rescue the city's discarded. One evening, after patching a gravely wounded street urchin whose cybernetic spine had shattered in a raid, Kai and Mira shared a quiet moment on the rooftop garden. Bioluminescent fungi spiraled up corroded beams, casting soft jade light across Kai's profile. He offered her a steaming mug of synthesized tea. Thank you, Mira said softly, cradling the cup. For everything. Kai brushed a stray lock of hair from her face. You're the one who saved that boy. I just provided the tools. His voice held a warmth that made Mira's chest tighten. She hesitated, then looked out over the cityscape, towering spires wreathed in neon clouds. I used to feel like a weapon, she confessed. But with you, it's different. Their eyes met, and for a heartbeat, the world narrowed to just the two of them. Then, lightning split the sky, and rain speckled their cheeks. Kai laughed, offering her his jacket. As Mira shrugged into it, her shoulder bumped his, and the contact sent a rush of electricity through them both, human and biotech entwined. Back in the lab, their collaboration became almost telepathic. Kai anticipated Mira's next move, handing her the precise tool she needed. Mira in turn taught Kai to sense the subtle hum of living circuits. They shared confidences. Kai's childhood dreams of forging a world where no one went hungry. Mira's fear that her power would one day consume her. One late night, as they reviewed blueprints for a new medkit, Mira's hand lingered on Kai's. Promise me, she whispered, that no matter what we uncover, we face it together. Kai closed his hand over hers. Always. And in that pledge, spoken beneath the hum of holographic displays, a deeper bond was sealed. For every life, They mended in the streets below. They also began to heal each other, forging a connection stronger than any nanite swarm. A sullen red glow bled through the lab's viewport as dawn approached, an unnatural hue that set Mira's nerves on edge. Kai's holosensor pinged with urgent alerts. Multiple unauthorized drones were converging on Luxora Tower's mid-levels. "They've found us," Kai muttered, hastily packing prototype injectors into a compact case. Mira's heart pounded. Above all else, she feared capture, for the Hunt Corps would dissect her nanites to build weapons of mass destruction. The first wave of enforcement drones slammed against the reinforced door, shaking the walls. Kai activated the lab's emergency lockdown, but the second wave hacked through secondary protocols with ease. Red warning lights strobing, he grabbed Mira's hand. "We're heading to the maintenance shafts. There's an old service elevator that bypasses security grids." They dashed through narrow corridors, sparks flying as drones blasted panels apart behind them. Mira's palms glowed. With a sweep of her hand, she triggered nearby conduit nanites to overload, frying drone circuitry. One by one, the metallic hunters fell silent in her wake. Kai hissed in amazement. "You're unstoppable." She shook her head, sweat beading at her temples. "That's what terrifies me." They reached the service elevator, a battered relic with half-functioning controls. As Kai struggled to override the lock, enforcement officers in black armor spilled into the hallway, weapons trained on them. "Stand down," the lead officer barked. "You're in violation of Council Edict 47. Surrender the subject." Mira stepped forward, fear crystallizing into resolve. Her nanites surged outward, forming a shimmering barrier that rippled like liquid metal. Blasts from plasma rifles shattered harmlessly against the protective field. Kai watched, torn between awe and horror, as Mira's power laid waste to the Enforcer's advance. When the dust settled, only smoldering wreckage remained. The service elevator's doors slid open. Mira turned to Kai, voice trembling but fierce. "I can't let them take me. Not ever." Kai nodded, eyes bright with determination. "Then, let's fight back." As the doors closed, cutting off the blood-red dawn, they sealed their pact of rebellion. With Mira's unprecedented abilities and Kai's engineering genius, they would take the battle to the Council itself and ignite the service elevator jolted them upward through Luxora Tower's hidden shafts, rattling past levels no one officially acknowledged. When the doors hissed open at the summit, Kai and Mira stepped into a panoramic observation deck crowned by a fractured glass dome. Dawn's first pale light filtered through the cracks, illuminating the city sprawled beneath them like circuitry brought to life. Mira let out a soft breath, the adrenaline ebbing from her veins. "We did it," she whispered, turning to Kai. He offered a half-smile, though his eyes were solemn. And now the real work begins. Before them lay Arcadia Prime in all its neon wonder and its stark inequalities. Below the lower grid's ragged rooftops clung like barnacles to gleaming towers. Somewhere in that vast expanse the people hungered not only for food and shelter, but for justice and hope. Kai reached into his coat pocket and withdrew a sleek, palm-sized device, the prototype injector they'd perfected. "With this," he said, holding it aloft, "we can deploy your nanites anywhere. No Council medbay will ever refuse a healing." Mira's violet eyes glimmered with determination. "We'll start tonight. I've pinpointed coordinates in the canyons. There's a riot. People protesting the Council's latest tax on life support. Rations, they need aid." He activated the injector's mapping interface, which projected a 3D overlay of the district. "And I'll coordinate supply drops from the tower's drone bays. We'll mobilize discreetly. Med kits, nutrient packs, and spare circuitry. We'll become a phantom network of salvation, As they spoke, Mira's wrist sensor pulsed, an old security beacon she'd repurposed. It emitted a soft chime, and a holofeed materialized between them, showing faces of citizens they'd already helped. The street urchin with the repaired spine, the gravely wounded mechanic whose arm now moved with fluid grace, the scavenger, extracts they'd saved from near-fatal exposure. "They're counting on us," Mira said, voice tinged with both pride and urgency. Kai nodded, stepping closer. "Then let's give them something to believe in." He produced a slender band of interwoven nanofilament, an heirloom from Project Helix's design vaults. "A token," he explained, "to seal our bond." Mira's breath caught as he fastened the ring onto her finger. The band shimmered, its surface alive with faint circuitry patterns. "It's self-repairing," Kai smiled. "Like us." Tears welled in Mira's eyes. She took Kai's hands in hers, their warmth bridging the divide between human and biotech marvel. "My heart was broken when they cast me out," she murmured. "But you? You helped me see that my gift is a promise, not a curse." He brushed away a tear. "And you showed me that technology, when guided by compassion, can heal far more than metal and flesh." The fractured dome above them cracked anew, and sunlight streamed through, fracturing into rainbows across their joined hands. With a final shared glance, they activated the beacon, sending a silent pulse across Arcadia Prime's net. A call to every hidden healer, every sympathetic engineer, every soul yearning for change. Below, the canyon's riots would soon pause, in astonishment as drones bearing hope descended. Citizens would whisper of the mysterious saviors in the tower, of the engineer and the outcast whose union defied fate. And in every healed body and mended spirit their legend would grow. As the sun rose fully, Kai and Mira stood side by side atop the spire, hearts intertwined, ready to rewrite the future. Their revolution had begun, not with weapons of destruction, but with the warmth of healing and the power of love, and together they would be unstoppable.